of us are looking towards how exhibition industry can adapt innovations. And we have the young Turks from our industry who are giving us their concepts, their plans, their already proven concepts into action about how the exhibition industry would change. I would like to invest time and energy in listening to them because that is how the exhibitions will be organized in future. I request Mr. Gaurav Juneja to come on stage and lead the young Turks. Gaurav, being the youngest amongst all, has this honor, and I can also invite Mr. Ashwin Binu, Sricharan Atluri, Sankalp Sardana and Mehul Agarwal. Please come on stage, please.
Thank you, Surajji. Yes, I'm the youngest among the EC, and it's a privilege for me to be among the young Turks in the exhibition industry. We've been working with, I would say, Mr. Binu. My father has worked with Mr. Binu. My father has worked with Mr. Sardana. Even I have worked with them, and today I'm seeing Sankalp from Sardana, Mehul from Expro, and Ashwin from Berapon, and Charan, of course, from Hybro. So this is a very interesting session today, what we have. In the last 2 years, we all have seen many changes in the exhibition industry, and especially after the COVID, the pandemic. So today's tech session, let's make things better. New technologies and innovation in the exhibition ecosystem. It's not only the digital part, what we are seeing in the ecosystem, but I think over the coming time, many things will change. It's how we walk into the show floor, how we build stands, how visitors come, how they transport, what experience they have. So it's a whole ecosystem which will change. I think a lot of changes we've seen in the past, and this will definitely, I would say, it's a different perspective altogether now. A lot of our panelists are presenting slides and presentations, and I would say the last 2 years have compelled the exhibition industry to adopt new technologies and innovations. A lot of processes which were being manually have been now digital and modular. So with much ado, I would now start the session. Charan, my first question would be to you. Can I have the mic, please? While technology is need of the hour, it needs a robust ecosystem. What were some of the challenges you faced while implementing technology?
Yeah, thank you, everybody. So, while some of these technology applications were forced upon us, like the virtual meetings and the hybrid events, so there was these technologies were there for a long time. They were coming. The adoption has been slow. So we had our own set of challenges in usage of Zoom meetings in our own offices for a long time. But what really helped is within no time the adoption quickly picked up when there was a necessity and there was no other choice. In a similar way, I foresee that this is not just a post-COVID requirement of using these technologies. So eventually some of these are here to stay. So it's for us to embrace them and then understand how we can effectively use them to create that engagement and experience to our audience. So I would take one example of how specifically the hybrid events, while there are virtual attendees who are participating from online, the quality of their experience and engagement has so drastically improved. So we could probably, within this room, we could probably have a large white screen behind and maybe even have them virtually participate in this on the live screen. Maybe we could engage, interact, they could ask questions and speak to them. Not necessarily everybody is holding back on traveling only because of COVID. Maybe it is going to open another segment of online registrations plus the on-site registrations. So maybe size of the pie is going to increase by adoption of this, and that is optimistically what I would like to look forward on, how technology can embrace and help more engagement into the events and exhibition space.
And how did the technology aid the exhibition industry in 2020 when the physical exhibitions were not allowed, or in the absence of physical exhibitions?
Yeah, like I mentioned, one good thing is we have not completely dropped out on that event on that particular year. At least there has been a virtual event. We have been in touch with what's happening. Some of us have signed up virtually and at least been in touch and connected with the suppliers and the industry thought leaders on what is happening around the world. We have kept in touch with them, not just on content that we could read, we could also be in touch with them on the online conferences that we could attend.
Thank you. Ashwin, I would like to ask you, as your company, Little Merofoam, was purely into stand construction, and in the absence of physical exhibitions, how did you adopt to new technologies? And I would like to have your views on what all did you do in these things to overcome these problems.
Thanks. Hello. So 2020 and 2021 were quite difficult for everyone, and I know everyone adapted, and we adapted the same. So we did multitudes of virtual events and exhibition, and the response was quite varied. Like, for seminars it worked much better. People were like comfortable, sitting at homes and attending it, or experiencing it. But for exhibitions, I think that tangible touch, or how you can experience a product, that is something technology has not got there as of now. But I'm sure, over the course of time, that we are eventually going into a sort of hybridization period where, we'll try to leverage technology to, help in anything that we exhibit. And it's not something that, obviously it has expanded, as, Charan said, that over the last 2 years. But technology has obviously been helping us exhibit better over, exhibitions like in Paris started in 1890, right? Over 130 years, we've started improving how we sort of display or showcase things. It has gone from a product-specific thing to a narrative-based display. So and it's expanding to a virtual front as well.
Out of curiosity, I somewhere saw Merofoam organize some AGM for ACMA, which was very high-level AGM with green room setups and a proper setup in a 5-star hotel. Would you like to share any experience with that?
So, yeah, that was one of the, my first hybrid sort of event. There were smaller ones before that, but that came into the main forefront, and it was one of the earlier ones to adopt it. And I think everyone was very surprised how it sort of, seamlessly sort of worked, because we started adopting things that, news agencies or broadcasting is taking. So obviously exhibitions or events are something that they sort of take skills from outside industries and adopt it into our own skill set, and we sort of enhance it further.
Thanks Ashwin. Sankalp, purely into stand construction, how do you see the ecosystem changing in the coming times?
So for me and for my family, we feel that the future is all about modularity and sustainability, and that's what I'm going to showcase in my slides as well. Now, if we talk about green exhibiting, you go to Europe, anywhere in Europe, all European shows, all American shows, there are restrictions in terms of the kind of carpentry you can do, the amount of wood you can use, and I think that's the future. We all have to be conscious about the sustainable kind of construction we can do wherever possible, of course, and yeah, that's the future for me.
How do you think it will help the organizers or event managers in terms of what efforts does it save, and what would be the benefits for us?
See, firstly, modularity, because it consists of pre-engineered modules and products, and all you have to do is just go to the site and assemble everything. Firstly, we'll save a lot of time. There'll be a lot of assembly time that we'll save out on. You'll reduce a lot of carbon footprint. All the events that we've worked with over the past 6 years with our modular system, We've helped them reduce their carbon footprint. Sometimes there hasn't been any carbon footprint at all. So I think that's the most important part for any organizer, because in the future, every brand, every organization will lean towards a modular approach, a sustainable approach. Every company wants to be eco-friendly. We can see everyone's going paperless. So I would feel that if, the same should happen with the industry, and it will. Over a few years, it's already happened everywhere across the globe. Over here in India, it might take us some time to do it, but yeah.
Mehul, I saw your presentation, and you're making a lot of modular systems for smaller events, hospitality industry. With the COVID restriction, a lot of places, a lot of events, you have less of time, you cannot take too much labor. With all those aspects, how do you think that your ecosystem, your products, or the coming ecosystems can help us or the exhibition industry?
I think, as Sankalp said, the end goal of innovation and one of the things that we are trying to get to is sustainability and using as much as eco-friendly materials as possible. As Sankalp said, we are also using aluminum structures, and we were the first ones to bring aluminum structures in the Indian market. And as I will show in my slides, we have invested in newer technologies that can actually help the fair organizers and even us in terms of reducing the cost as well. So that is something that...
Mehul, do you think technology being used as an enabler to support pre-existing processes and systems, or is it being used to create new solutions? I said, is technology being used as an enabler to support pre-existing processes, or is it being used to create new solutions?
I think we can use it for both things. It can definitely be used to create new solutions as well. This is same. So I'll talk in terms of the events that we are doing, the kind of structures that we have our expertise in. Those can be used for a multiple number of solutions. It can be used for exhibitions. It can be used as a banquet. It can be used for various other things. So I feel that technology and innovation in technology, as we were talking about in the first session, we were talking about German engineering and its impact on the environment and reducing, as Sankalp said, reducing our carbon footprint. So definitely that is something that is the future, and as an organization and as fair organizers as well, I think it is our responsibility to reduce as much carbon footprint that we can do, and I think technology will definitely help in doing that.
Sharan,
It's okay if I can have another
sure.
viewpoint on that. So, what is happening, and normally with the films or the cinema industry, theaters are going through the same experience, like OTT is available, so why do people have to go to the cinemas? So, cinemas have become an event for the family. In the same way, for the attendees that we will be attracting to our events or exhibitions, for them it has to be eventful. Another anomaly of sporting events, if we look at the opening ceremony or the closing ceremony, is a big thing. Yeah, look at Olympics. So it's just a sporting event. Why do they have to do so much of an experience building around it? So today's generation, they will want those Insta moments, those social feeds that they can experience or show off. So exhibitions should also continue to create such experiences and engagements once the attendees come here. So what is it that we can do at the opening session, the closing session, or at a stand level? What are all the engagement and creative experiences that you can create, which cannot be just be viewed over an online
So do you
session?
think that technology can elevate the user experience?
Absolutely. You look at any of these examples that I have taken would not have been possible. Look at this room. The quality of the AV so far that I have observed is fantastic. The video, I'm assuming that that's also being streamed online. So everything is working in sync, and that's creating that experience.
Thank you. Can we have the slides one by one so that if any questions from the audiences there, we can take up those also. Ashwin, do you want to add something?
I'd just like to add that, it's a symbiotic relationship with technology. It doesn't, it's not only like the processes that are improved by technology, obviously they happen, but the experience also is enhanced. Like if you see exhibition or events, you might have a static screen previously. Now it's gone completely, backgrounds have disappeared and now we have LEDs everywhere. Eventually it'll be a mix and, the best of both worlds that come into play, and we're slowly but steadily going towards that route.
One question which is coming in my mind, in the middle of all this, would you still say that human angle is still there, or the virtual can replace these things? Anyone would like to answer?
At this current time, I think, a physical thing is obviously required. Like even if you're doing a physical meeting, I see that, it works much faster. Even if you do design changes, for example, what takes me 30 seconds to explain to someone in real life might take me a minute and a half. It might not seem so much time, but if you multiply it by the number of discussions that we have, it takes up a lot of time. But I think we will eventually get there. And so it's a difference between a telephone and a mobile phone, right? Like a mobile phone, no one can live without a mobile phone these days. But we used to live like that. So it's just adopting it now.
Exactly, it's adopting to new technologies. Can we have the slides one by one and then we can talk on those? Yeah, it's Ashwin.
Yeah, so can you just go back, one slide? So I had to talk about new technologies, and clearly the most difficult, or what I foresaw, or what I saw previously was, how displays have changed. We are in the business of displays. Everyone is enabling our end customers to showcase something. So the most important question for me when talking about technology was, can I go to the next slide? Is how should you display? The displays over the years have changed from a product-centric approach to a whole narrative. Now you don't just keep products in front of a table. You have, LEDs which sort of explain the intricacies of how it's sort of made, or the engineering that goes behind it. So they are actually communicating a narrative why my product is much better than someone else's, right? We're using technology as an enabler. Can we go to the next slide? So, to explain my point, I just dug up one image from 1986. This is an auto show, and 2020 is also an auto show. We are using the image on the right with LEDs and, program lighting. The materials, as everyone said, there's a road in front of it. I'm putting context to my products, right? So as a person who comes here, has a much more livid experience in my stall. A question that comes to me a lot of times when I'm going to my clients is, you see my products on the road or in a market. Why should I come to an exhibition to sort of showcase this? Because the narrative is different, right? I'm explaining directly to my customer why they should take my product. And that is currently not available with technology right now. So that's where, physical intervention sort of comes into play. Actually, both the images are using prefabricated systems, but the image on the right, you don't know that it's a prefabricated system. So it has all the advantages, but, everyone wants, upmarket stall or something that attracts people. So with technology, we've come to a stage where you can have reusability, but not compromise on aesthetics and looks. Can you go to the next slide? So what I see as the technology enablers these days is, large format displays, which can be projections, LEDs or holograms, experiential and engaging displays, because, the more you engage with the product, more connected you are. Even if you don't consume it now, eventually when you have to make that decision, you will go back and, the brand recall remains. Data is another important aspect which I saw, now we're collecting data from registration forms. When you have interactive displays or touch screens, you're collating data. So as a participant, you know what works and what does not work, right? You can obviously take that feedback on board and, upgrade your product showcases or, enhance your products. And the last one is the digital extension. We've already spoken a bit about it, how hybrid and, tangible exhibitions sort of work together. So just elaborating on what we just sort of saw, this is an exhibition stand and it's predominantly LED. What that allows you to have is, a completely different stand at any given point of time. I can change my display, background, and anything like that. And we've all seen this happening, but maybe we don't connect the dots that, we have changed from static displays or written documents to completely digital screens. Again, experiential displays allows you to showcase what is actually happening inside my components or, my factory, which is, has high-end machinery producing these things. They can be taken there virtually and they can be showcased there. And you also engage with the product and it has a longer lasting memory. The other thing which is quite important is data. We are getting a lot of data and it's how we process this big data to bridge the gap between, what is the requirement from the end client and what are the solutions that we can provide. And the last part would be, hybrid and virtual sort of things. We have to sort of work together to bring everything sort of, so that we can have the benefits of both sides. So what does this all lead to? Essentially, we are walking, moving towards the sort of metaverse where, everything sort of exists in cohesion. And lastly, I'd just like to conclude with the signs that, we're transversing this path, as in, digital artwork has gone to NFTs. Facebook is turning into Meta. Companies that used to produce physical objects like Nike and Adidas are selling digital assets. So, the world is changing, and as an industry, we will have to walk with technology to enhance the, visitor experience.
Thanks, Ashwin. So what I can observe from your presentation is that we all need to work on a database. Database is in the set for us, so we have to work on database and augmented reality. Thank you. Can we have the next presentation, please?
Yeah, thank you, Ashwin. That was a perfect extension for my slide deck. You kind of complemented and covered, luckily, not the ones that I'm going to speak about. Yeah. So, like how I was mentioning, the same basic AV in a conference hall has progressed and evolved from a basic sound system. Then the lights came, and then the backdrop was replaced by an LED video wall, so projection mapping. So a lot of things have evolved in a seminar conference hall. So this is inevitable. We will have to embrace the technology, and like Ashwin mentioned, there are a lot of other parallel industries, whether it is the broadcasting or there are so many more, that digital and IT, that how we can pick up technologies from them and integrate them seamlessly into creating an experience and engagement for our audience. So ultimately that should be the overall objective. So one of my top 5 technology trends for the exhibition industry is the registration management could become far more seamless. So maybe we could come up with touchless and facial recognition access management systems. So then similarly, the digital signages and beacon technology could enable wayfinding solutions. The exhibition safe spaces today, even in India, are fairly large. So the delegate could get lost in trying to locate where his preferred targeted booths are. So within the mobile app, using a beacon technology, how he will be able to navigate to his desired booth. And once the delegate comes to his booth, how they can push notification, push maybe some engagement offers or fun games to walk into his booth and then engage them more and attract attention. So that's on the wayfinding solutions. And then, the big data could also certainly help in terms of crowd management, and particularly given the COVID. So there can be systems where we can count. Sorry, I'm not able to align the slides exactly. So there's a PDF document. So how each hall can be restricted with a certain count. Post-COVID protocols can be set to exhibition rooms or seminar rooms. So there can be digital counters outside the rooms where how many people in turn are inside to better ensure the social distancing norms or guidelines are managed. So all this can very well be used with, and hybrid events has been touched upon. So as I explained, maybe create a scenario of a large hall where the hundreds or thousands of the virtual delegates also are getting an experience of a real life experience of the event. So we should not think of them as a lost opportunity. So they are probably a new market who were otherwise not attending the conferences to begin with. They're probably going to experience the virtual event at free of cost or a lower cost. Maybe the year after they will be more excited to come. This is more like a teaser for them to attend the on-site events. So, and silent conferencing is another one. Audio tour guide solutions, some of you might have already experienced, where you can walk into different booths, and in turn, because it's usually the exhibitions are a noisy environment, now with so many booths playing different kinds of audiovisual contents, it could be fairly noisy, and then the audio tour guide will help content silently broadcast to the individuals based on his preference. Yeah, the last thing is the augmented reality or virtual reality that could be adopted at a booth level. So the exhibitor could have the opportunity to showcase what exactly happens in his R&D center, on his factory floors, how really the product is designed or produced or manufactured. So that kind of builds so much more trust and credibility of the exhibitor. So that's about it, Gaurav. Thank you. These are my top 5 technology
Sharan.
trends.
Thank you. I think so we've learned about facial recognition, crowd management, touchless registrations, contactless. So this is need of the hour with the current scenario. And this was the visitor experience or the user experience. Now we come to the other part, which is the construction part. You go into a shopping mall or retail store, that's the visitor experience. But if your products or exhibits are not displayed properly or not in a manner, you don't feel like entering that store. So now we come to the back end of our retail or exhibits back end, and then let us share the experiences. Can we have the next slides, please?
So I'm going to take you all a little back in time. In 1973, my grandfather, Mr. I.C. Sardana, built this modular system which was done for IndiePEX in Pragati Maidan. And this is how we started, and now we're, we specialize in modular systems and displays for exhibitions and events. I would also like to add that he won a national award for his work, and we also ended up making modular systems for the World Book Fair, which the National Book Trust even bought off of us and used for the next 3 editions. So that was the first time we created a modular system all the way back 49 years ago. And now my brother with his clever design thinking, Purusharth, and my father with his experience, we took his support, obviously, and the family's expertise to create a modular system, which is called the Cubex Truss. Now, the Cubex Truss is a modular truss system, which is just a 5-inch truss, which is smaller than the phones we all have. It's smaller than an iPhone. And it's such a versatile system that it can be used to create structures and displays of basically any shape and any size. Now, our main focus to do this was because I'm sure you've all been to the event sites, exhibition sites after the show is over. Now, conventional methods follow the build and burn principle, which means that after the show is over, almost 60% or up to 60% of the material that's used at an event or an exhibition goes straight to a landfill or is scrapped. So to change that and to promote a more sustainable, reusable, eco-friendly method of creating structures and displays without compromising on the quality or the aesthetics, we developed the Cubex Truss. Now we have several modules that we've developed after doing a lot of R&D and planning over the years. Now, if you can see, these are the verticals and horizontals that we've created that go up to 6 meters, which is approximately 20 feet. After that, we have modules that are diagonals and arches that give us the ability to make more geometrical and symmetrical shapes. Now, to take another step forward, we developed angles that range from 15 degrees to 165. Now, these angles and these multi-angular joints that you see, these multi-angular joints have two separate angles within one module. So say I have a 60-degree angle, it also has a 45-degree angle, which gives us the flexibility to basically create any shape or any size. Now, these are some examples of the kind of structures and pavilions we've built using our truss system. Now, again, this is all just one product with 30 to 50 modules that we've developed and used. Now, this is in Pragati Maidan. We made the Meghalaya Pavilion, and it was built in 36 hours with only 6 men, 6 boys, and all the printing that you see was 100% eco-friendly fabric printing. So this entire 200 square meter pavilion, there was 0% wastage. There was no wastage at all, and the same goes with our other displays. Now, from a pavilion with the same material that's used to make a pavilion of 200 square meters with up to 6 meters height, we can also make branding displays and signages that, again, this was also built in about 12 hours, where we built over 15 of these displays. Now, our aim to make the Cubex Truss and push it in the industry was to show the people that just one module can give you the flexibility to create all kinds of structures. Now, you don't need to get a lot of wood, do a lot of carpentry, use a lot of nails and hammering stuff. All you need to do is just attach these modules, just how Lego works. And, the assembly time is obviously very, very fast. It's super quick. We're up to 45% faster compared to the conventional methods that we're all used to seeing in exhibitions. Now, this is the gate that we built. Again, this gate, there were a number of quantities that we built, and all of these were again 100% eco-friendly gates with no wastage, and again built in a very short amount of time. Now, the same material now, from a pavilion to a branding display to a gate, now we've moved on to a tunnel. Now, this was quite a large tunnel. This was again built in only 20 hours, including the thread work that you see. So the whole point of modular systems is that you save a lot on assembly time, a lot on manpower. You hardly need any manpower for these kind of structures. For any modular system, not just the Cubex Truss, for any modular system or technology that's available in the market. Now, again, this entire big tunnel was built with only 5 people. So this just shows how quickly you can complete any kind of structure, no matter how big or small it is, with a lot of sustainable and waste-free methods. Here we built a waterproof structure similar to how you would see a hanger, but the shape and the quantities were different. Now here we again used only 7 boys, which is built in 24 hours. These again, all of these are super flexible. We could go to the site tomorrow, just take out a few modules, add different modules and change the entire shape of the structure at the site. And all of that could be done within a day. Now, this is similar to the design. If you remember the picture of NDPEX that my grandfather built in '73, we took inspiration from that and built an art display structure here. This was again showcasing over 300 prints that had a lot of art displays. And again, this was super quick, 6 boys, 24 hours. Now here's a small example of how our system works.
Short of time, can you?
I'll take a minute. So as you can see, it's 100% modular. 100% waste free. You hardly need any tools. There are only two tools that we use. That's a wrench and nut bolts. We don't use any tools at all. We've never used any nails, any wood for any of our structures. And the printing that you see, it all promotes maximum visual impact because that's where all the focus goes because of the properties of our truss system. I'll skip these videos then. Yeah. I'll just show one quick collage of all the pictures. Now here you could see that with the same system we've built all kinds of displays and structures that any exhibition or event would need. You would find tunnels here, you would find hall connecting tunnels from one exhibition hall to another. We could make a tunnel as big or of any size to the exact we could do it because of the kind of modules and sizes that we offer. You'll see gates, you'll see immersive structures, you'll see outdoor display stands and registration counters, gates and a lot more. So if you all remember, the entire day we've heard a lot of our seniors talk about sustainability in exhibitions. Now, the only way forward for all of us to be more sustainable and eco-friendly is to take a modular approach and focus more on green exhibiting. Now, this is one system that can do that. There are many more. Even Mehul has come up with a technology that has come from Germany that is 100% modular and it's waste free. So there are methods, and I think this is the future of how things are going to be like. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Sankalp. Can we move to Mehul, please?
First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Mehul Agarwal from Expo Events and Exhibits. We are a 9-decade-old company, and I am the 5th generation. So I think one of the things that has been constant throughout the 9 decades, I feel, has been innovation. From being a tent company to becoming infrastructure event supplier to now becoming a 360-degree event solution company. I feel we have innovated in terms of technology, in terms of people, in terms of our methods. So I feel technology and trusting in the technology and investing in new technologies is definitely the way forward. So these are some. So just to tell you about how old the company is, we were also a part of the freedom struggle that happened. We used to put up tents for Nehruji, and so that is how old the company is. And from being a tent company to now innovating and doing large prestigious projects for the Ministry of Defense, for other government agencies as well, I feel we have innovated quite a bit. So, I'll just show you some of the pictures of the niche events that we have done. We are doing the India Art Fair since the last 10 years, and it really fills our heart with joy when the clients themselves see how we've invested in the technology and how we've invested in our infrastructure and the way that we work. So this is just a little 1-minute video of a testimonial by the client that kind of exhibits that. So I'll just play that video.
It's not playing, so.
All right, I'll move ahead. These are just some of the events and the kind of structures that we are using. We're not only merely a structure supplier. Now we have moved into doing turnkey events that involves various elements, more than 500 elements that you have to execute yourself. So I feel that is how we have changed as a company through the years. So one of the new technologies and structures that I would like to talk about is the Palace that we have imported from our German partners. We were talking about German engineering and in the first session, and how we can learn from the advancements in German engineering and technology, and how it can help our exhibition ecosystem. So I'll just talk about the structures in length. So this is a structure which is 8 meters in its site, and you get almost a 30 feet height in the middle, which can accommodate another floor. So using the modular structure, as Sankalp said, we help in reducing our carbon footprint. It helps us in terms of time. It takes this entire structure takes less than 3 days to get set up, and you can get more than 40,000 square feet of space that can be built up in less than 3 days in a temporary sort of sort of an area. So one of the benefits of this particular structure is that it has the glass modules as well. The glass modules that you can see in this structure are also modular. So you can set up and install more than 200 meters of glass in a single day.
We are short of time. Please,
I'll just wrap it up. And another benefit that we get is that with this structure we get an inflatable roof cover, which has a membrane technology, and it is cladded on 2 sides, which these are thermo roof covers, which gives a very good insulating effect as well. And in terms of organizing shows inside it, the air conditioning load is brought down by a massive 40%. So just investing in the technology of these thermo roof covers with double cladding, we can save up on the air conditioning cost by more than 40 to 50%. And obviously that subsequently helps us in reducing the carbon footprint, as we have talked about so often, and sustainability in terms of providing a space.
Thank you, Mehul. I think so. We have to end this as we are already running short of time. Thank you. And we have our AGM also. We have a lunch also. Everyone is waiting, and then we have the lunch. I think so. Whatever questions, if anyone has, they can connect offline. But we had a wonderful presentation and wonderful session with these young Turks who are the future of our exhibition industry. Thanks everyone.
So now we can see the future of physical exhibitions, and it's very beautiful. Congratulations to all of you. Can I call Mr. Dharampal Malhotra to felicitate our panelists? The team of ITPO is here with us today. We would like to invite them on stage, and if Mr. Ubaid can join us. Surinder ji, Devendra ji, Vivekanand ji, please join us on stage. With this, we conclude IEIA OS 2021 series.
Okay, on behalf of IEIA and the entire EC and the Secretariat, I would like to thank each one of you for making it convenient to join, and most important, giving a very strong statement that physical events are back in action. So please enjoy your lunch, and I wish you safe journeys back home. And most important, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Take care, all of you. Stay safe, stay well.